this time stars the same cast as the first movie, as well as Cillian Murphy. Going back to my usual voice, A Quiet Place Part 2's plot follows the first film's events, where the remaining members of the family search for civilization in wake of their home's destruction. The first A Quiet Place in 2018 I thought was a damn good movie. The trailer was very ambiguous, it intrigued me a whole bunch, and when I saw the movie in theaters with a packed audience, everyone seemed to go crazy about it. And of course, because I liked the first movie a whole bunch, I was really excited for A Quiet Place Part 2. It was one of my top 10 most anticipated movies of 2020. But we all know what happened last year. Only a select few people saw this movie in 2020, and the rest of the world had to wait another year and 2 months until A Quiet Place Part 2 was released worldwide. I will say right out the gate, a majority of the people who like the first A Quiet Place will also like the second one. Because like the first movie, Part 2 is tension-filled. To my surprise, the audience surrounding me was very quiet this entire movie, and even during the quietest scenes in Part 2, I could barely hear a word from anybody else. This movie was very quiet, and everyone in the audience was very quiet around me, which further added to the movie's tension and suspense. John Krasinski continues to shock me with his directing skills and writing skills. The movie in both of those categories is so good. You don't see movies this well written anymore in Hollywood. So many of the movies we get in present day are no longer special. They are very generic. Filmmakers have no idea how to make their films more creative anymore, which is really disappointing. But between A Quiet Place and A Quiet Place Part 2, these movies have gone above and beyond in terms of shocking me and doing what no films have the guts to do anymore, which is subverting my expectations from beginning to end. And Part 2, even unlike the first movie, went in a very unexpected direction. Some of the characters along the way in A Quiet Place Part 2 end up in different places, and you may think that would be the wrong decision, because what made the first film so good is that we have this family and they all stick together. They're there by each other's side, and because of that, they're able to protect each other. But if they did the same thing in Part 2, it would have felt like a complete rehash of the first movie. So in my opinion, it was the right decision because it makes this movie feel a bit more distinct, and by having characters in different locations, we then have 2 scenes happening simultaneously that are very tension-filled. So by doing this, they double the amount of suspense, and they do this more times than one. And even from time to time, especially near the film's finale, in my head, I viewed this movie as an art piece almost. It's really interesting that John Krasinski made certain choices with the colors, as well as the decision to simultaneously have 2 scenes happening at once. I also love the fact that we get to see more from A Quiet Place's universe in A Quiet Place Part 2. The first movie is a lot more contained. It's somewhat cut and dry, but this movie, we get to venture out more, see what this world has to offer. We didn't get to see as much in the first movie, but the second movie takes all the opportunities to further expand A Quiet Place's world. We even learn more about where the aliens came from, their origins. We see this in the opening scene. If you guys saw the trailer, that's exactly where this all happens. On top of all that too, the acting once again is so darn good. Millicent Simmons, Noah Jupe, Emily Blunt, and even Cillian Murphy, who I thought was a fantastic addition to A Quiet Place Part 2, all knocked it out of the park. The acting is seriously incredible in these 2 films. I have no idea how none of these actors or actresses have gotten as much recognition as they deserve. I only have a few small issues with A Quiet Place Part 2. I know some people are going to point out right away that the kids look older in this movie, even though it happens directly after the first one, but that, of course, is unavoidable. So I would not consider that a nitpick for me. But like the first movie, the fake jump scares return. Why do they always have fake jump scares in thrillers? I have no idea. This movie is intelligent for about 99% of the time, but then there's that 1% where those fake jump scares pop up. Just edit them out. They are so stupid. And there are a few conveniences that are only there for the sole purpose of this movie not ending after the first half hour. We need our characters to get in some pretty messy situations, and because of these conveniences, it allows the movie to keep going on for an hour and 37 minutes. Things happen in this movie that make me question the logic of some characters, and there are a couple events that take place that really push the envelope a little bit too much, to the point where I just can't believe that something like that would ever happen. But you know what? Besides those minor problems, A Quiet Place Part 2 might be my favorite movie of 2021 so far. I'll even go as far as to say that I think this movie is better than its predecessor, A Quiet Place. It's tension-filled, it subverts all expectations, the acting is once again great, it expands the universe of A Quiet Place even more, and most importantly, there are some scary elements, just like in the first movie, returning in A Quiet Place Part 2, which was exactly what everyone expected going into this movie. And all I could ever ask for. I am giving A Quiet Place Part 2 a 91%. Great movie all around, I think. My friend who saw it with me was not the biggest fan. He thought the first one was a lot better, but if you enjoyed the first one, I'm sure you'll really like the second one as well. Alright, if you also happen to see A Quiet Place Part 2, be sure to let me know down below in the comment section what your thoughts are of it. And as always, guys, if you are new to my channel, click the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I hope you all have a fantastic day.